Good morning, my friends, and welcome back to another segment of Hanging with the Boss Lady. I am your host, the Boss Lady herself, Cheryl Jones, aka that little old country girl. How are you today, my dear? I pray that you all are doing well. As for me, I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for asking. Well, are you ready for another wonderful segment today? Fantastic. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started. I would like to share with you today my thoughts on how to find help for yourself in situations where you are feeling overwhelmed by stress. And I think this is a very, very important topic to talk about because I see many people dealing with stress. They are fighting, seem like an endless uphill battle, and it seems like they just don't know how to or if they will ever get out of it. And I want you to know today, my friends, that there is an out. No one has to stay in a stressful state of mind for an indefinite period of time. There is help for you. And today I would like to talk to you about the help that you can receive. Let's first start by giving the definition of what stress is, okay? Stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. Now, if you were to stop and think about some of the demanding circumstances that would cause overwhelming feelings of stress, let's just name a few. Uh, Having a job that does not pay you according to the work that they are expecting from you. You're underpaid, the jobs are understaffed, you have young children, you have utilities, you have car notes, you have insurance, you have your mortgage or your rent, you have clothes that you have to buy for your children to keep up with. In school, you have grocery bill, you have insurance, you have all of these things that constantly are piling up on you month after month after month. And it seems like no matter how hard you try, you just cannot get ahead, which sadly falls back on the state of our economy. Because, in my own opinion, and I'm not saying that this is etched in stone, this is just how I feel. The economy is made so that you will never catch up. It's made so that you're always robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's made so that the person who already has will always have more, and those that are trying to just keep their head above water will always have less and lesser and lesser. So sadly, the pressures will get on your shoulders and just push you down and make you feel like the more I try, it seems like the worse things get. And you may feel like the harder I work, the less money I bring home. And now they're going up on the rent and they're going up on the utilities, and my insurance rate, it just doesn't ever go down. And now something is wrong with the car, and they need this for school, and they need these clothes, they're outgrowing their shoes, and it's always one thing after another. But my friend, this is called life. Yes, it happens to everyone. And we must learn how to find a way to navigate and maneuver around all of these giant pitfalls in life that seems like it's designed to destroy your will to survive. To put it bluntly, stress can overwhelm you. You can look around one day and feel like all of the hard work that you are doing is for nothing, and you just want to throw up your hands and walk away. But we are not defeatists. No, my friend, you are not a defeatist. You don't walk away. You stand and you fight. And today I'm going to share with you some ways to help you to get strong enough to fight back. Now, one very important point that I would like to speak on before I talk about ways that you can find help for yourself is this. Dear, you are not alone. And of course, when you are in the middle of your crisis moment, or you're in your feelings, or when it seems like everything is just falling down around you, you don't want to hear those words, you're not alone, because it's not really helping at that moment. But I want you to know there are millions of people in this world that are going through what you are going through, not to diminish by any means what it is that you are experiencing, but to let you know that you are so very special. You are so very important. And what you're going through is not meant out of the whole universe to be just aimed directly at you. There are many people struggling. There are many people that are experiencing overwhelming feelings. And there are many people who survive, who come out of it, who get stronger, and who thrive. That is the reason I'm saying you are not alone. There are a lot of people that's going through some almost identical things that you're going through, and they find ways to cope, to overcome, and to persevere. And you can too. I want you to know that it is not the end for you. You may feel like it's the end sometimes, and I'm saying these words because someone really needs to hear this. You may feel like throwing up your hands and walking away because no matter how hard you try, it seems like it just keeps getting worse and worse. It is not the end. Okay? God is not through with you yet. It's not the end of your story. There's more in store for you. And that is, with an exclamation point, you can take it to the bank and draw interest on it. It is not over for you. There's a lot of things in store for you, good things. And there are ways that can help you get better. And I'm going to share some of those ways with you. So first, I'm going to start by saying you already know when you are feeling stressed. You already know when you feel like you're at the end of your rope and you're like a rat on a wheel and you're just going round and round and round and you're not getting anywhere. So you already know that you're having these feelings. So you don't really need anyone to tell you you're stressed. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're overwhelmed, because you wake up with these feelings. You go to sleep with these feelings. You operate through the day. You try to put on that brave face, especially if you have children around. And then you don't really want people to know what you're going through, because then you have a lot of questions to answer and it just agitates the situation. So you already know that there is something going on that you're not happy about. And it's just taking away from the joy of enjoying life. So what you want to do is you really want it to just stop. You want to be able to breathe free. You want to be able to just relax and be happy. And you want to know how you can do it, because you are sick and tired of this feeling of wanting to just shut down and just stop and cease to exist. And of course, I want you to continue to exist happily, freely. And I'm going to do everything I can to point you in the direction where you can get that feeling again, okay? So since you already know that you have a problem, that you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, in order to get help for that, you have to admit it. Because as odd as it may seem, a person who is stressed, sometimes they will deny it to the greatest degree. No, I'm fine. No. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. I'm fine. And my dear, that is the first step to getting help. This is what I talked about on my encouragement video yesterday. The very first step to getting help, to getting better, is to acknowledge that you need help. Many times we let our pride get in the way. Many times we just want to appear to be strong. We don't want people to think that we're weak. We don't want people to think that everything is not perfect in our lives, when in reality, there is no perfection in anyone's life. Many people, almost everyone, has a level of stress that they are experiencing this very moment while I'm speaking to you. And sadly, many people are trying to cover it up. When you try to just become an ostrich and put your head in the sand, the rest of you is still out in the world and the situation continues. So all you're doing is covering your ears and closing your eyes and trying not to see what is there, and it is not helping. So we need to stop just saying we're okay. If you're not okay, guess what? It's okay to not be okay for whatever reason. Now, there are a lot of signs and symptoms that show of someone being overwhelmed. It can be irrational thoughts. You may be struggling to think rationally, and things that just what can make the problem seem inflated, and your perceived ability to deal with it and make it feel deflated, but you can't seem to sort this out in your mind. You have all these irrational thoughts, and then sometimes a situation may arise and you just freeze. You just can't deal with it. No, you just stop. You just stop. I can't. Just no. You walk away. You can't handle it at that moment. And and then if it's something that has to be taken care of, you refuse to handle it. I'm not going to talk on the phone. I'm not going to answer that letter. I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to stay right here. I'm just not going to handle it. These are signs and symptoms of just being overwhelmed. But you have to acknowledge that, yes, I'm withdrawing into myself because I just can't handle it right now. And the very first step to getting over that is to admit. And you have to say, I feel like I can't handle it. So I need help. I have a problem. I just feel overwhelmed. I just feel like I'm about to explode. I feel like everything is just going crazy around me, and I just want to scream. I just want to cry. I just want to run away. You have to acknowledge that you need help, and you have to end all of that with, I need help. I can't do this by myself. I need help. That is the very first step to getting the help that you need. Now, the second step to getting the help that you need is when you acknowledge to yourself and to the world that you do need help. You know what you have to do, my friend? Find the place to get the help that you need. And there are a lot of places that you can get the help that you need. Now, many people say they will go speak to a therapist. because it's good to get it out of you. When you are feeling overwhelmed and stressed, but you just keep that smile painted on your face and you walk around with that false bravado and you just say, "Oh, child, don't worry about it. Come on, let's go over here. Let's have fun." And then you just laugh it up and you giggle and you just sit back and make everything seem fine when inside you're crying a river of tears. When inside you are literally shattered and pieces of you are just laying broken all over the place. But you keep that smile on your face because you want to the world appear to be okay. And it's not that important to appear to the world that you're okay when you are broken inside. And all it does is destroys you. It makes you bitter. It makes you sad. It makes you depressed. And all of these things happen when you don't begin to seek the help. Once you acknowledge, okay, I need help. I can't do this by myself. There are multiple avenues that you can travel down to get help. Number one is you could talk to maybe a family member. I talk to my sister daily. And sometimes we just sit and reminisce about the past and when we were before even teenagers and what we did as kids and all the fun we had and how carefree it was. And we grew up in New York and we would talk about all the fun days, especially the summer days and the open fire hydrants and the freedom of going to the park and staying there all day, and your parents and all the parents on the block telling their kids, "Go ahead, have fun, be here before dark." And we would just go out and play, and there was no pandemic, and there was not a lot of snatching, but they were stealing children off the street, and there were not a lot of mass shootings. Everything was different when we were younger, and we talk about that often. And then we compare it to now where our children can only go in the backyard if you're sitting right there with them to watch that no one comes over the fence, and you have to make sure when you're going shopping that they're literally tied to you so no one will snatch them and run away, and they can't just go and ride their bikes up and down the block, and everything is changed. And then you have the pandemic where people are locked in their homes and you can't breathe freely, and you have to get vaccinations and all of these things that come upon you. And you look at the time and you say, you know what, when you begin to talk and reminisce and you see how God has, even in the midst of all of the change, you're still standing. And then you begin to be grateful and you appreciate where you are, even though you're not where you would love to be, but you still look back and see how far the Lord has brought you, and it lifts your spirit. So you should find someone, find that family member, find that friend that you can talk to. And then again, like I said, you may want to talk to a therapist. When you talk to a therapist, it is so good to get it out of you. And they are trained to help you to speak about these feelings that you're keeping locked up inside you. And trust me, it's just like an old radiator. And we also had a furnace in my house in Queens where the water in the tube, you could tell when it needed to be bled. You would have to periodically go down and turn the knob and let that water out to relieve some of the pressure. If not, it would blow the furnace. So it's just like that. When you begin to talk to a therapist, you begin to unleash these feelings, the frustration, the disappointment, the aggravation, the things that make you feel like you're overwhelmed. A therapist is an excellent source of help. Or maybe you want to go to someone in the clergy. You want to speak to your pastor or your elder or your youth leader or someone of that nature that will speak to you, who will listen to you, who will pray with you, who will intercede with you. This is so important that you find someone that you can talk to. Or maybe you want to try a group therapy. I have found that group therapies are so therapeutic. When you speak to someone your age and your age bracket, someone who is experiencing some of the same things that you are going through, that you can sit and swap stories. And where you first were so pent up and annoyed and aggravated, when you begin to hear from others what they are going through, and it's like, seriously, it's like you live in my house. It's like you are going through the same thing I'm going through, and then you find a common bond, and you can smile about it, because then you do actually see that you're not alone, that this is happening all over the world. And you begin to get strength in that bond, and you can begin to talk about, well, you know what, why don't we try this? And why don't we try that? And you begin to find ways that you can get through it, other than the ways that you were already trying and failing at. And then they may say, well, you know what? I went through this, and that with mine. Try this. And then once you try it and it works, and you be like, oh my God, I never thought about that. Sometimes group therapy is absolutely essential. And then the last thing I want to say, seeking help, spend time on yourself. A lot of times we give so much. We are here for this one, that one, this one, that one, the other one, and maybe another one that could come around at any minute. You give so much of yourself until you don't leave yourself time for yourself. You are exhausted and you're overtired. And all you need sometimes, just take a weekend. It doesn't even have to be with your friends. You don't have to take you and your boys, your homeboys. You don't have to take a girls' night out. Just you by yourself. Go to a hotel, take your food with you, binge watch some television, listen, just lay on the bed and listen to some beautiful, quiet music. No one's calling you. No one's making requests. You don't have to get up and assist with anything. Take a long bubble bath or take a nice long hot shower and just sit and enjoy. Or maybe you just want to go and take a spa day. Let someone knead your shoulders. Just massage all the kinks and the muscles out, and get a facial and get a manicure and get a pedicure and just get pampered. You will be surprised how much that will help. And sometimes that is what you need, because you're so busy giving until you have given all, and you're all given out. And you don't have enough. And then once you go through these different scenarios or ways to help yourself, once you go and speak to that therapist or your pastor or your counselor, or you go to that group therapy or speak to your friend or your family member, when it's time to go back and face this situation again, it's like a breath of fresh air. And then you can open up your mind and you can see it differently. And you handle it different. And then you can just laugh it off and you don't feel so bad. So the first step is acknowledging that you need help. The second step is seeking the help that you need. Now, the last point that I want to bring up in getting the help that you need is this, and it is extremely important. You ready? Accept the help that is extended to you. That is a biggie. Why? Because many of us look at ourselves as being superheroes. I got it. I can handle it. I'll take care of it. It's going to be all right. Oh, don't worry about it. I got it. I got this. And then when someone say, you know what? Here, let me help you. No. I'm okay. I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm fine. And then say, you're doing all of that. Why don't you let me? No, it's all right. I'm fine. I don't need that. I can take care of it. You're doing so much. I seen you. You haven't sat down all day. Here, let me do it. Oh, child, please. I got it. Don't worry about it. Here, you've been doing all this here. You want me to keep the kids for the weekend? What? No. No, listen, I know what you're going through, so don't worry about me. I'll be fine. My friend, when help is offered to you, accept it. Whether it is in the form of labor, whether it is in the form of monetary assistance, whether it is in the form of someone saying, you know what, let me just take you out to dinner so we can just talk. What? Wow, no, I'm good. I'm good. Listen, I got too much to do, child, and I am good. No, you are not. You need the break. Go out to dinner. Go out to lunch. Someone wants to come over and sit down and have a cup of coffee? Have a cup of coffee. Okay? If someone says, listen, we're having a group session tonight, and I think that it's something you might find interesting. Why don't you come? Nah, I don't do that session thing. No, I don't do that. If someone may say to you, you know what, my dear, God bless you, I would love to sit down and have a word with you and have a word of prayer. Would you allow me to? Oh, thank you, but no thanks. I'm good. I'm good. Why do people always say, I'm good, I'm good, when inside they are shattered and broken? If someone offers to you assistance, something that can give you space to breathe, something that can help break that burden of overwhelming stress, accept it because you need it. It is vital to our existence, to our survival, for us to get help. When God created Adam in the beginning, he said, it is not good that man should be alone. So he created him a help meet. He made Eve to help Adam so that he would not have to be alone. You do not have to go through your struggles and your trials alone. You do not have to face overwhelming, seemingly insurmountable odds alone. There is help for you. So I'm encouraging you, my friend, get the help you need so that you do not walk around feeling like you will never get out of the stress and the overwhelming feeling of failure, abandonment, depression, hardship. You do not have to go through that alone. There is help for you. And I'm encouraging you to get that help. And when it is offered to you, accept it. Do all that. You deserve it. You are awesome. Okay? I myself sometimes feel stressed and overwhelmed. And I do accept the help that is presented to me. I used to not, but I've gotten better. I do accept it. And I see it in others. And just like I see it, others see it. So continue to be the awesome person that you are. Accept the help that is offered to you. Be the greatest that you can be. And that's it for today. I hope that you did enjoy this podcast. And if you did, please leave a comment, share, and hit that like button. If you have not already subscribed, please subscribe. And I'm going to let you get back to the remainder of your day. And until we meet again, may the Lord God bless you real good. Don't stress. Bosslady out.